There's a number of themes that are coming through again about authenticity, I think. Fun was one that suggested itself to me there, and the desirability of harnessing these interactive technologies for a real pedagogical purpose around creativity, rather than moving beyond just that shiny, bright and new thing. One of the things that does occur to me quite immediately when we're talking in terms of Erica's main brief here about making these practices transferable and upscalable is the cost, personal, financial, investment workload-wise.
The level of work, I think, has been seriously underestimated in bringing it online. At the same time, I've also discovered that in certain segments of university management, this is more of an administrative problem and less of a kind of a creative problem, but has a substantial influence over the creative uptake of systems like we're using.
My interest in the interactive whiteboard actually stemmed out of a research project that we were doing with teachers in schools. There's been increasing interest with interactive whiteboards. It's starting to actually hit the media and the newspapers. Interactive whiteboard technology was actually in the UK quite extensively through schools about 10 years ago, which is when I first saw the technology. So 18 months ago we started the research project to actually look at a trial school's uptake of the technology and the impact that technology was having on the teacher's time in terms of learning the technology and what's required for it to become effective use of the technology for improving outcomes for children's learning.
A lot of the technologies, if we take a non-technocentric stance, can be used very easily to replicate something that we've done on a face-to-face basis. Our whole approach has been what new opportunities and what different opportunities can we do value add to the educational experience. Discussion boards providing 24/7 access. Discussion boards providing equalisation across the students. Massive drop rates in having to consult with students about issues and problems because they've got the entire program.
Suddenly I'm able to reintroduce things like interviews, things like student presentations, things like guest lecturers being available to all my students.
And I find that with those things you become completely immersed in it. It's with you all the time. It's while you're in the car, in the shower, you dream about it. It's there all the time. But the thing is that I think it makes a better product because you nut out a lot of the connections, the necessary connections that it comes with the program. And I think two things that come from it. If you enjoy the concept in the first place, it's not such that it's not really that much pain. It's a lot of fun, in fact, to be having something pleasant to think about. And the other thing is that if your students have fun, and I have fun every year with the Merlin Affair, and I can see Airgon 1 is going to be a ball. It's going to brighten up my years to come. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with making learning and teaching fun.
The technology is not the solution within itself. Good teaching is still good teaching.
Disciplines find it very difficult to communicate with each other because of the languages they use. Even when they're using the same words, it often doesn't mean the same thing from one discipline to another. And so developing ways for disciplines to actually be able to speak to each other, to understand, more importantly, where they're coming from, and to have the courage, respect, tolerance, flexibility, and virtues to deal with each other in such a way that you can create is very important. We're dealing with a very complex world. We're preparing our students for a very complex world.